Welcome to CTV News Your Canada. It is Tuesday, April the 8th. We'll bring you profiles of fascinating Canadians and stories about your community. Thanks for watching.
3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff.
From NASA's Kennedy Space Center last week, this capsule blasted off on what is dubbed the FRAM-2 mission.
Copy, stage 2.
A mission with two goals: become the first crew to capture the Earth's polar regions from low Earth orbit and develop advancements for long-range space exploration. One of 22 experiments had some major Canadian and, more specifically, Waterloo, Ontario influence.
Taking X-rays for the first time ever up in space.
Amal Karnick is the president and CEO of KA Imaging. His team built the world's first multi-layer spectral X-ray detector, a fancy name for something that allows you to
see the soft tissue independently of the bone image, and the soft tissue.
So thanks to Karnick and his co-founder, Professor Karim at the University of Waterloo, their technology allowed for this to happen: the first medical X-ray image in space. One that mimics the first ever X-ray image taken on Earth over a century ago.
Seeing the first images was, groundbreaking. And, well, we're actually in space, so maybe call it space breaking.
The Space X-ray project happened on a SpaceX capsule, but it wasn't their mission or funded by them. Still, it didn't stop the SpaceX team from being impressed on launch day.
And this machine can also help us measure astronauts' bone density, so we can actually keep track of how they're doing in that respect.
They lose anywhere from 3 to 4% per month. So think about the longer voyages to Mars, these long space missions, or astronauts or people spending time on the International Space Station.
And given space is actually limited up in space and on the spacecrafts, the KA Imaging team solved that problem too.
We made the effort to take effectively 3 times the amount of extra hardware everyone else does and make it fit in the same space.
Their device can also help inspect machines to assess what repair may be needed.
So if we have a machine that's malfunctioning, instead of having to take it apart and figure out what's wrong, we can just take an X-ray of it to diagnose the problems.
It's an out-of-this-world achievement that can make life better on Earth too, especially in remote areas.
They don't have access to a lot of advanced imaging, and having a better X-ray system out there will help them find diseases earlier.
So while it may just seem like an X-ray of a hand, it points to much more, capturing the unseen while exploring the unknown. Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Waterloo.
You could hear it before you saw it.
Like, I remember being frightened of how loud it was and crying and basically wanting to get out of the back of it.
This is a fudge snowplane. It doesn't deliver sweet treats or fly in the air. It was bought by Liesl Gunderman's grandfather, Dr. Galloway, in 1947. He used it to get to his patients for 10 years before proper winter transportation was established in southeast Saskatchewan.
He painted a stork carrying a baby bundle on it, and he called it the delivery wagon.
After her grandfather died, the piece of family and prairie history went missing.
I said to Liesl, I says, you know what, we're going to find that thing. I'm going to fix that thing, and I'm going to take you for a ride with it.
Gunderman and her husband, Daryl Hunter, eventually found something familiar at the Antique Automobile Museum in Manitoba several years ago.
I saw the parts, rusted pile of parts sitting in a heap. I could see the legs of the stork that I recognized from when I was a kid.
The couple brought over the hunk of metal to their garage in Seba Beach, where they've been restoring it for the past 2 years. It has 4 skis and a propeller in the back to move across the snow.
It didn't have an engine. It didn't have none of the side curtains. It was damaged from front to back.
After a fresh coat of paint and building some missing parts, her grandfather's memory is being kept alive.
Because it's not just a family history story, it's a story of history about health history. It's a story about the history of Western Canada.
The snowplane will be up and running in the fall, so Hunter can keep his promise to Gunderman and take it for a spin.
Yeah, we never sat in it together yet.
No. People a couple miles away will hear us coming down the road for sure.
The snowplane will eventually return to a museum in Manitoba before restoring this second machine to its former glory. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
It might not look like much from the ground, but inside this modest birdhouse, nature is putting on a spectacular show.
I'd never seen an owl in my life, and then all of a sudden they're in our yard.
6 years ago, that backyard visitor sparked a new passion for Riverside retiree Chris Jacobson, who built them a home. And when the pandemic hit, his hobby really took flight.
It was kind of hard to say what was going on in the house because screech owls are elusive and most of their time they're nocturnal. So after that, we decided, well, to get more of what's going on, we decided, well, probably put a camera inside the house.
What started as one camera has grown to 6. 2 inside the nest, 4 across the backyard, all capturing incredible close-up moments of a mated pair of screech owls and the 12 owlets they've hatched over the years.
We've actually seen one hatching, from the time that it started peeping inside the shell until it was fully outside of the shell.
Jacobson shares these clips on social media where they've attracted hundreds of thousands of views, offering a window into a world most rarely see.
I think it's for the owls, it's their eyes. People they see the big eyes and it's just kind of mesmerizing and mysterious.
He says his view counts really soared in those early pandemic days when we were all looking for a little escape. And now they're taking flight once again.
It was very well received during that time. It's everything we're going through now, it seems like people are back on that again.
What do you want people to take away from the images and the video that you're able to share here?
Just to appreciate what's around, the wildlife that's in the area.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
Standing on stage at his former high school more than 60 years after graduating from it was enough to make even a Nobel Prize winner a bit nostalgic.
It hasn't changed that much, really. It's the same building because I was in the first graduating class in 1960.
55 years later, the world learned Art McDonald's name when the co-winners were announced for the 2015 Nobel Prize in Physics.
For the discovery of neutrino oscillations.
Today, McDonald came back to his alma mater to share some of his knowledge with students.
I would hope that some of them would be inspired by the fact that it was possible for me to do well after graduating from the academy.
McDonald, who is now 81, won the Nobel Prize for his work studying subatomic particles called neutrinos. Even if the high schoolers, like most of us, might not understand all of that hard science, they still learned plenty today from a man who made it clear he was one of their own.
I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing to think about, so obviously it just makes you think that, anyone can do anything no matter where they come from.
What did I learn? To have a sense of humor, honestly. No matter where you go in science, just have a sense of humor. Smile, and don't forget to, make friends with the people that you meet.
In the end, the scientist got a bit of the rock star treatment, with students asking for photos and autographs. As for any final advice for these growing minds?
Continue to be curious, because essentially everything I spoke about today has been discovered since I graduated from Sydney Academy.
There was a parting gift, too, and while it might not be a Nobel Prize, it is something this history-making scientist will wear with hometown pride. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
School is a laughing matter for students in Humber College's comedy program.
The experience is like nothing else. When you're up there performing and you have everyone's attention and then you get that laughter moment, it's just like nothing else compares.
I love Canada, I love the freedom here, but it comes with a course, the rent is so high.
Hitting the stage at the iconic Yuck Yucks Comedy Club in Toronto, the students are all ages from all across the country and beyond. 43-year-old Eddie Tony is from Hong Kong.
I fly all the way here to do this course. I'm very committed.
He's had to overcome his shyness and learn English in pursuit of his dream.
I don't know how to parallel park, but I will explain the economy to you.
Vern Bird is non-binary from Thunder Bay. Comedy, she says, is like therapy.
The problems never end, let me tell you. And also, I don't think I ever solve any of my problems. I think I just, I'm able to laugh at them.
You see all the media where the fat kid's funny. And then you also kind of have that negative body image that you want to work to somehow have something going for yourself. And for me, that was comedy.
Conan Mighton even used his routine to come out to his parents.
I had a joke about being bisexual, hadn't really talked to them before that, and then I did that joke in my set, And then afterwards, my dad was like, "That was a funny joke. Are you bisexual?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then we got dinner. It was pretty cool with that.
Humber's 2-year writing, comedy, and performance program is celebrating 25 years, but next year it's going to change. It'll include all of that, but it'll be 1 year with an emphasis on social media and technology.
It doesn't help that I wear like all this, just all black all the time, excluding my face. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that a second time.
Graham Taylor's interests lie offstage as a comedy writer.
Still less than the Prime Minister.
I really don't enjoy doing stand-up. It petrifies me.
Tai Chi is from Japan.
I wish I was named Kung Fu. You know, Kung Fu is fun, exciting. But Tai Chi is just...
A course offering everything you need to know on stage or off, whether you get the laughs or write them. Andrea Case, CTV News.
You move it to the side here.
It's been a sweet semester for some high school students in the Sioux. The Algoma District School Board purchased the Sweet Change Chocolate Company last year and converted a section of White Pines Collegiate for the new chocolate making operation called Sweetened. Board staff and Sweetened employees now work alongside students to produce the chocolate and run the business.
They're eager to learn, so it's easy to teach somebody that wants to learn. But, I mean, overall, prospectively, they've been doing great, learning and being patient, just one step at a time, teaching them, and then it works out at the end.
Everybody loves chocolate. It makes everybody happy, and students are actually more engaged. We're seeing attendance increase. Student success in those business classes is fantastic, and the teacher gets to demonstrate his knowledge of actually running a business through the use of Sweeten.
Students with an eye for the creative are involved with the website and take the photos used to market the products. The engineering design class is working on 3D printed custom molds for the Belgian chocolate bars. And in addition to helping make the sweets, students also sell it firsthand at local events.
I've learned how to have customer skills, talking to customers, bringing them in. When we're at the Greyhound games, you really got to yell at the people to get their attention. I feel like that's really going to help me because I want to go into real estate, and it's going to help me advertise and get people's attention for my business.
Students we spoke to say this hands-on learning makes them confident in their abilities to enter the working world, and seeing their contributions as part of the business only makes that confidence grow.
It was actually very, very rewarding. When I walked into the Sweetened shop this morning, I seen one of my pictures that I had come up with on one of their doors. So it was just really nice to see that it was going towards something good.
The profits from Sweetened support initiatives like the Algoma District School Board's breakfast program at both elementary and secondary schools across the region, as well as experiential learning opportunities for students. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Armand Paquette has been driving for OC Transpo for 43 years with a perfectly clean record.
It feels great because I think it's quite an accomplishment when you think of it, what we go through, the temperature and the weather conditions outside.
Paquette says he couldn't have done it without being married to his wife, Geraldine, for 41 years. He carries a photo of her every minute he's on the job.
She is a big part of it for keeping beside me and supporting me. And we had 2 beautiful children. And so she is part of the job also. Even if she's not driving, she will be forever in my mind and with me.
The ceremony celebrates employees who have gone above and beyond, helping the public in many ways.
There are accidents that happen when people are out there. People can have medical incidents, children can get lost, and our operators and our staff are out there really to not only get people to where they're going, but to help them and help resolve those issues or get them the help that they need.
Brody Peak received the Employee of the Year award. Last year, he helped a boy that was in medical distress get the help they needed.
I noticed a 9-year-old boy on my bus that was purple in the face, and I decided to secure my bus, pull over and provide assistance. I put him in the recovery position, got them stable.
These awards carry on a tradition of service, much like Paquette, whose father worked in transit for nearly 40 years on streetcars.
From 1951 to 1989, and we cross-path each other. I started in 81, October, and we worked 8 years together, so that's part of the family heirloom.
These employees say they love their job and look forward to providing the best service to all customers.
I have a lot of stories that people call me a storyteller.
From smiles to saving lives, these workers are heroes with great acts of courage, kindness, and commitment to their jobs. Patricia.
Beautiful tradition there for Armand Paquette, and a beautiful tribute as well. That was lovely, Camille. Thank you.
On the 7th anniversary of his passing, Logan Boulet's family spent the afternoon at his gravesite. They spent much of that time building Lego sets. Logan loved building with Legos, and his family knows it's something he would appreciate.
I like to do stuff, especially over these 2 days, of things that mean something to me and mean something to Logan and our family. So we donated plasma because that is our way of giving, a gift of life in a way when we're still living, breathing people here today.
Logan was one of 16 people killed in the Humboldt Broncos bus crash in 2018. He was inspired to become an organ donor by his coach, Rick Suggett. When Suggett passed, his organs helped save the lives of 6 people. Logan's parents offered for Logan's organs to be donated, which were also used to save 6 people.
So today's a day about letting Logan know that he's loved, and we get to tell stories and share laughter and tears, and yeah, so it's not as hard as yesterday.
The story of Logan's organ donation made national and international headlines. In the days and weeks following his death, almost 150,000 people registered to become organ donors in what was called the Logan Boulet effect. 7 years later, that impact is still being felt.
We've actually seen direct impact right from Logan Boulet's actions himself, people coming forward, people wanting to donate as a result of hearing about Logan's story. So it's happened over and over again.
The loss of Logan has been difficult for the Boulets, but they're happy to see the impact he continues to have. They hope more families will continue to talk about organ donation to keep the momentum going.
But that conversation sets the stage so that it's almost like your last will and testament. If you're registered to be an organ donor, why would I say no to you? Why would I stand there and say as a parent, no, I don't think I can do that? Because I want to respect Logan's wishes, and we want people to respect the wishes of who's in front of them, who's deceased.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
At lunchtime, students at FACE were out in full force with a message for Quebec in both official languages to save a public school that's one of a kind in the province.
A big part of what makes FACE is that we're all together from primary to secondary, and also that English and French are together.
But this will be the last year students will be under the same roof. Quebec says it doesn't have the $375 million necessary to renovate the heritage building. So it's permanently relocating 1,300 students to 2 different locations in the plateau. It also means splitting the students up into primary and secondary schools. Parents say that will change the character of the school.
This is a central location. By moving it to the plateau, you're kind of making it inaccessible for everybody that lives in NDG, Verdun, Pointe Saint-Charles, and that's also part of the social fabric that is here. The temporary school is very nice and beautiful, but it's not meant to be an arts-specific school. There is no auditorium there where they can have nice concerts.
Culture is not only a song or a film or a dance or a play. Culture is actually bricks. Like culture in this case is stone.
Since Friday's decision, parents have joined forces with staff and students to change Quebec's mind. Liberal MNA Jennifer Macaron says the government should prioritize education.
It's a beautiful project. You've got a Francophone and an Anglophone school board that are married together.
She says she'll present a petition in May at the National Assembly and will do what it takes to save FACE.
It's like everyone's kind of bummed because next year we're supposed to graduate next year and we're going to stay here for one last year.
A sad goodbye to an iconic institution. Denise Roberts, CTV News.
The Great Western Brewing Company recently celebrated 35 years in the business, and the team is reflecting on how the brewery has become such a Saskatchewan staple.
It's made right here in Saskatoon, and it's owned by folks that live here in the province as well. So I think those are important factors that have helped our success over the last few years.
It's all thanks to 16 friends who decided to purchase a brewery back in 1986, which is where the company's staple beer, Original 16, got its name.
This was our baby. We were there at the conception, we were there at the birth, the growing up, the terrible twos. As it matured, it was a little rocky in the teens. Then it turned 21. When it turned 21, Original 16 was launched.
A lot has changed since the company's inception 35 years ago, but one thing which has remained constant: the nearly century-old building, which the brewery operates out of.
It's important that it stays in this location, and we've invested in various parts of this operation over the time that we've owned the brewery as Great Western Brewery, and thought it important to stay right downtown Saskatoon and continue to thrive here where we started everything.
The company is currently in the process of building an additional brewery on the premises.
New machinery. We brought in the first canning in Saskatchewan back in 1990, and that's changed as well. We no longer do any bottling, which is what was our lifeblood 40 years ago.
Another aspect which has remained the same, one very important ingredient.
We have the great benefit of one of the key ingredients in beer is barley, and we happen to be in the barley belt. So we produce some of the best barley in the world, and we get to use it in our beers.
While the Great Western team is certainly excited about their anniversary, they're holding off on the festivities until October, which will also mark the opening of their additional brew house. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
My laundry room.
To appreciate this poster Stephen Campanelli's had for 40 years.
I just love how cool he is. Look at this guy.
You need to know he's been a Clint Eastwood fan for even longer.
You know, I idolized Clint, and I actually had a dog named Clint when I was a kid.
Stephen would even dress up like one of Clint's most iconic characters.
Put a Radio Shack cassette recorder underneath playing the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly theme. I was kind of a hit at a few Halloween parties back then.
Well, no one was surprised Stephen dreamed of working with Eastwood one day. No one could believe when the student filmmaker earned a chance to meet the star at a film gala in his hometown, and he declined because he was working an entry-level job on his first production.
Everybody on the film said, you should go and meet your idol. And I said, no, I'm going to show I'm dedicated to this industry and this craft.
Well, thanks to that work ethic and innate talent, Stephen became one of Canada's most in-demand Steadicam operators, which led to being hired to shoot Bridges of Madison County, starring and directed by Clint Eastwood.
You know, I'm saying, Mr. Eastwood, thank you for having me here. Thank you for this thing. And he just stops me mid-sentence and he just goes, call me Clint. And it was the coolest moment of my life.
Well, the shoot went so well, Clint gifted Stephen his director's chair before working side by side on 24 more movies together.
I was studying him and I was watching him and I said, well, you know, I think I can do this.
But Stephen never expected he'd get his first job directing his own movie halfway through shooting one of Eastwood's, and the star would let him leave to do it.
Says, you're going to do great. You're going to be a great director. You go and do it, and we'll see you soon. I was like, oh, wow.
Stevens directed 4 features so far, including the acclaimed drama Indian Horse and Canadian comedy Drinkwater. And while they've earned him shelffuls of awards, Stevens says no trophy can compare to hearing an audience member call your movie meaningful.
That's the greatest gift, that you can affect somebody and change their life for a few hours.
Like Eastwood once captured young Stevens' imagination.
And then you cut to, 20 years later.
Before realizing his boyhood dream.
Here I am working with him. It's insane.
And inspiring him to dream even bigger.
Somehow I've done that. Some miracle. I'm here today and just want to keep directing and telling great stories.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, News Bay.